if you're wondering to yourself, who in the world is that schlup in the top left-hand corner? Uh, hello, I'm Big Al. This is my face. It's a big old face reveal. And I'm testing out a new setup today. I'm hoping to do a lot more of this type of opening in the new year where you can actually see my reaction to pulling a Griffey Auto instead of just hearing it. I'm also testing new light. I've got a new microphone in case you can't hear it. Testing all sorts of different things. So call this a test run video. And I wanted to make it a bit of a talking cards, but not really. And it's going to be a rant. Let's be real. It's going to be a rant. It's going to be a ramble. And so here we go. The hobby, as you guys know, has changed pretty drastically over the last really 2 years, maybe 3 if you include like the lead up to it. And it's become very, very, very money heavy. I mean, when you have cards selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, even thousands of dollars, like this was just unheard of many, many years ago. I feel like. I could be wrong. So it's become very money centric to the point where there's just a lot of ethical issues, I think. You know, you got people who are weighing blasters of Donruss and Absolute Football to chase the downtowns and the kabooms, respectively. And then when they get one that has one, they sell the rest, and they still sell it at a profit. There's a fellow on Twitter, Limited Issue, where he said something that kind of, didn't stick well with me. And this is not, I don't know him, so I'm not going to say anything on his character. But he said, the hobby's all about the money now. It's all about money. And while I see that becoming gradually more true, where it's a heavier emphasis on money, that's not what this is about. Cards and baseball cards, sport card, whatever you collect, there's a story behind it. And I wanted to share a few stories with you to show you that there's so much more to this hobby than money. Anybody who tells you it's all about the money is lying directly to your face. And I wanted to start with 3 cards that are of great personal significance to me. They're never leaving my PC, ever. You could offer me $1 million and they would never leave. I don't care. Some of them you've seen, some of you may not have. If you were not around for the early Big Al's days, you may not have seen these before. So let's start with this guy right here. This is just an Andre Dawson relic card. Nothing crazy, right? Just a bat relic from 2005. Nice card, right? My grandfather got this from me at a garage sale. He knew I was really big into baseball cards, into baseball, and being from Chicago, you're going to find a lot of Cubs stuff. So he got that for me. And he and I were very, 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 very close. Gramps and I were super close. That card is never leaving my collection because my grandfather got it for me. It tells a story. I'll give you another story. This card I know that maybe you've seen before. This is a 2020 Topps Allen & Ginter Kerry Wood auto. $20, $30 card maybe, right? To me, it's priceless. My grandmother took me to my very first baseball game when I was 10 years old. Cubs versus Mets. Mike Pizza Boy as the antagonist in the crowd that was known as Little Big Al was calling him. And Kerry Wood was all that I cared about. Sammy Sosa and Kerry Wood were the only 2 names that I cared about back in those days. And I got to watch Kerry Wood pitch when he wasn't injured. I got to watch him play. Whether it be on TV, I don't remember if he pitched that game, but Kerry Wood was the biggest thing in the world to me. Best pitcher in baseball to me. Last year, she got me that card for Christmas. It's never leaving my collection. I look at that card and I think, that was my first baseball game with my grandmother. She's the person who taught me everything I know about baseball, everything I love about baseball. Granted, she's a Cubs fan, and I went astray and became a New York Yankees fan, the black sheep of the family, if you will. But we bonded over baseball. We bond over a lot of things, but baseball is still the one thing that we still talk about to this day. But now I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, Big Al, these are all great. These are just gifts. Of course, the gift cards are never going to leave your collection, right? That's never going to happen. There's stuff that's pack pulled. You guys know that Griffey auto that I pulled will never leave my collection. That's a big thing to me. That's the biggest card I've ever pulled in my life. But it's also a big card that I've pulled on the channel. It was the best card that I had pulled on the channel to date. And I pulled a lot of cool stuff, but that takes the cake, hands down. But there's one card that I pulled before I did all this that tells an even more significant story to me. So when I was living at home, this was a couple years ago, I would buy hobby box every so often. And this is 2019. And I decided to buy a hobby box of Topps Gold Label. I really didn't know anything about Gold Label at the time. I didn't know that it's notoriously hard to get anything good in Topps Gold Label. So I buy a hobby box in my local hobby shop. I take it home, and like I did with almost everything at the time, I opened it with my mom. It was a really nice way to just spend some time together, rip packs, and of course hope that we got something big, right? So we're going through. I always gave her the pack that I know contained a hit, because she liked to play the guessing game, where she'd hide it from me, she'd say the team, and I would guess the player, see if I get it right. So we go through the box. Nothing really too memorable, a numbered card or two, but really that was about it. And we get to the auto, and she says it's Toronto Blue Jays. 2019, keep that in mind. So my mind goes to Rowdy Tellez. She's like, no. And I'm like, who else is a Blue Jay? And I paused, and I said, it's not Vladimir Guerrero Jr., is it? She said, yeah, how'd you know? I freaked out. This is a 2019 Gold Label Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rookie autograph on card. And granted, he may have signed it a little bit higher than where the little white mark indicated he should sign. But I don't care. This is by far the most precious card in my entire collection. This card is coming with me to my grave. I'm not getting it graded. It is staying in this one touch. This card tells a story. This card tells a story of simpler times when there weren't flippers and scalpers and people who cared about the money, who weren't grading things as much, and it wasn't all about the money. It tells a story of a simpler time. So to people who say that the hobby is all about the money, to people like Limited Issue, to other people who are all about the money, all about the flip game, all about the investment, that's fair. If you want to invest in sports cards, if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative to do so. But I implore you to think about the other side of things. I want you to think about the hobby side of things. I want you to think about the love of the story of the card. Cards are so much more than a quote investment vehicle. Cards are so much more than a moneymaker. Cards are so much more than easy money. Cards are stories. Every card that you pull, whether it be big or small, tells a story in some way, shape, or form. Whether you pulled it with someone, you pulled it on a day that you were down and feeling sad, or it's the most monumental card you've ever pulled in your life, or it was a card that was gifted to you. Every single card tells a story. What's your story when it's all about the money? So why am I ranting? Why am I raving about this? Good question. If you are watching this and you are in this hobby primarily for the money, whether it be you are buying retail, flipping it, you are opening things, grading things, selling it, what have you. First of all, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you being here. I implore you to open a box. Just one. And what does it feel like? How much fun is it? What did you pull? Did you pull nothing that you would consider to be of great value? Did you pull something of your favorite team? A favorite player? What'd you get? I'm very curious. If you are a pack ripper like me and you love this hobby and you don't really care about the money, but you sell stuff just to kind of fund your hobby, what's your biggest card? What's the card that you've pulled that tells your story? To somebody who's never opened a pack of cards before and doesn't know what you're getting into, who's brand new to the hobby, first of all, welcome. I hope you enjoy the people. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones. What are you looking forward to? What do you hope to pull? What have you pulled if you've opened your first pack, your first box? What's the one card to anybody out there watching? What's the one card that will never leave your collection? I've got a few. These are just 3. I've got quite a few that are never going to leave. You could make me an offer and I'll never move it because the story means so much more than the money. So to anybody who thinks that sports cards right now are all about the money, you're missing so much more. And if you're laughing at this video, that's fine. I get it. Some 30-year-old fuddy-duddy is telling me not to invest in cards and is telling me to open them all up and to tell a story. If that's how you want to take it, that's fine. But I implore you to look at things a little bit deeper than where you're currently looking at them. Cards are so much more than what you make them. Cards are a story. Storytelling is who we are as humans. So tell your story. What's your card story? If you don't have one, why not? Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of the new setup. Let me know what you think of the lighting. Let me know what you think of the microphone. Let me know what you think of seeing my ugly mug in the top left corner. I always heard that I had the face for radio, so let me know what you think of the setup. Let me know your thoughts. What's your story? I want to hear it. I want to hear your card story. Please leave a like on this video. It helps the channel out tremendously. Please subscribe. I hope to have as many of you on the road to 1,000 subscribers as I can. I appreciate all of you so much for watching. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to my story. I can't wait to hear yours. And until next time, bye-bye.